The Onkyo TX-RZ50 is a high-performance 9.2-channel AV receiver with an excellent amplifier section. It can process 11 channels with the help of an additional amplifier, though. It has enough power to produce enough sound to cover a big space with 120 watts per channel. Additionally, Onkyo's own Dynamic Audio Amplification technology, which is made to offer high-quality music with no distortion, is included into the amplifier. The TX-RZ50 maintains the design and construction standards set by its forerunners. It has many of the same high-quality internal components and the same outer shell, with a few minor tweaks here and there. This is fantastic news because Onkyo has always incorporated high-quality hardware in their premium RZ series in general. In an otherwise fantastic orchestra, just the remote is still a cacophony, therefore Onkyo needs to step up their game in this area. The receiver supports the standard Dolby Atmos and DTS-X codecs in addition to their historic cores. We also get IMAX enhanced support, albeit there is still a dearth of content for this format. We also receive help for upmixing and virtual technology elements in order to meet all needs and accommodate different room arrangements. There are the standard DTS Neural, X and Dolby surround upmixing technologies available. In order to utilize all of the speakers in your setup, these upmixing technicians upconvert stereo and vintage mixes. The receiver also supports the recently adopted Dolby Atmos Height Virtualizer, which may construct a virtual configuration and give the impression that audio is coming from locations where there are no actual physical speakers. Once again, DTS Virtual X, a comparable technique for DTS tracks alone, is sadly unavailable. However, the advantage of the new Dolby Atmos Height Virtualizer is that, unlike DTS Virtual X, which only supports DTS files, it can be used with both Dolby Digital and DTS mixes, making the exclusion of DTS Virtual X not as significant. The TX-RZ50 has 9 built-in amplification channels, each of which is rated at 120 watts. Obviously, this number decreases if you connect more than 2 speakers, but no one can tell for sure how much unless you take precise measurements. You can build an up to 7.2.2 or 5.2.4 channel Dolby Atmos system using the available built-in amplifiers. As the TX-RZ50 provides processing for up to 11 channels, you can build a system with a configuration of 7.2.4 channels by adding an extra amplifier. In terms of the setup for this review, we used a 5.1.4 channel configuration with 4 height speakers and 1 subwoofer. Now onto our tests, starting with the incredible Dolby Atmos mix of Alita, Battle Angel in 4K UHD. The motorball scene is the clear test here, and the RZ50 performed superbly with lots of panning effects and tremendous low-end activity. No channels were wasted as the camera moved quickly across the track, and each speaker contributed to reenacting every scene on the screen. Overall, a really amazing introduction to the receiver's capabilities. We experienced a truly immersive soundstage thanks to precision, clarity, wonderful balance, and excellent dynamics. With Alien, Covenant and its atmospheric Dolby Atmos mix, we move on to something new. The plot of the film is quite varied, and many parts have the customary low-key, bombastic tone, as in the scene where Daniels and Tennessee attempt to flee the protomorph in the lander. This is a very stunning moment since the protomorph is attempting to enter the lander, and there are numerous surround sounds that help us understand what the alien is doing outside the spaceship. But more than just the action scenes were outstanding. The entire Necropolis segment is shrouded in a sinister quiet, with the Onkyo managing to depict even the minute nuances as dialogue would reverberate within the enormous structures of the deserted alien city. Once more, the utilization of the surround channels was superb. The overhead layer was expertly filled with just enough sound to match the primary soundstage, and the bass was delicately used to add the right amount of weight to each scene. For our second test, we decided to watch Jurassic Park in 4K UHD since we were feeling a little nostalgic. Yes, the original movie is still remarkable today, and it has a DTS-X mix that can compete with many more current releases. The movie features a lot of low-class activities. You will be on the edge of your seat when the T-Rex makes his grand entrance because of every step he takes and every deep roar he emits. The receiver drove our subwoofer to its absolute maximum and transported us to the fourth dimension. The iconic John Williams score, which was faithfully and carefully reproduced, can be added to all of this to create a work of art that the TX-RZ50 truly did right to. The Lord of the Rings is the final movie we watched and the one without which we had to end this review. It is one of our all-time favorite movies. This time, we chose to play the Two Towers, and the Battle of Helm's Deep was a no-brainer. The receiver was very skilled at simulating such a large war stage and giving you the impression that you were there. The dialogue was strategically placed in the center of the action, keeping it from interfering with it. It was nice to have background activity, especially in certain scenes where the action was taking place behind the camera. The bass naturally takes center stage in a situation like this, and you can truly sense the enormity of Saruman's army. As the camera moves into the shadowy crevices of Saruman's tower, sounds may be heard in the Isengard caves below us as well as above our heads. This concludes our evaluation of the film. It would be an understatement to say that the TX-RZ50 behaved admirably. We never once had the impression that the receiver wasn't able to authentically and correctly duplicate each scene. The dynamics were excellent, the attention to detail was strong, and every level of the frequency range was handled with care to produce an amazing cinematic experience. There is nothing more to say. The TX-RZ50 was put to the test with music last, so we went to a 2-channel setup and got some music to see how it would perform. Although audiophiles typically opt for alternative equipment, AV receivers may not be designed specifically for music, but that doesn't mean they aren't good at what they do. And the TX-RZ50 is a shining illustration of it, particularly when paired with high-quality speakers that can benefit from its electronics. It produced extremely excellent sound, perhaps not as musically as certain Marantz receivers can, but let's be honest, the distinctions between them are so subtle that most of the time, the average listener won't detect them. It was clear from the receiver's excellent transparency and remarkable stereo panning effects that it was quite capable of handling any content that was sent its way. The mid-frequencies were perfectly balanced and cleanly controlled, the high end was lively, full of life, and vivid without being intrusive, and the bass never ceased to amaze us with its potent production and shattering energy without losing clarity. Is this an AV receiver that may take the place of the device that a dedicated audiophile would most likely pick to power his pricey hi-fi speakers? Most likely not, but that doesn't change the fact that the Onkyo is a fantastic music-related device manager. The TX-RZ50 will expertly output everything you throw at it, whether it's intense heavy metal or delicate classical music. We can conclude this area of our evaluation by stating that the Onkyo receiver will satisfy even the most discerning consumers in terms of performance. It will serve you to the fullest extent of its powers whether you wish to use it mostly for movies or for a variety of purposes. The Onkyo TX-RZ50 has all of its connection ports in the back. The only ports on the front are a headphone jack and a single HDMI input. Having a front HDMI input can also be a big practical advantage over most other 2020 models, which have totally removed the front HDMI connector, as we have discussed before. The 11 speaker terminals that are available at the back are the first thing that stands out, but only 9 of them can be used with the built-in amplification. The receiver can handle the remaining ones, but in order to receive all 11.2 channels, you will need an extra amplifier. Since we last reviewed an Onkyo AV receiver, it seems like a very long time has passed. It is unfortunate that they have been through so much turbulence recently. The TX-RZ50 amply demonstrates that Onkyo is still a very capable company and that they are capable of creating goods that can compete with all other brands in the industry. This one offers so much to appreciate. The receiver is one of the most feature-rich devices we have tested recently, and its design and build quality are on par with those of any RZ model that came before it. Yes, there might be 1 or 2 features missing, such as Oro 3D, but let's be honest, how many people use this and how much of an influence does this exclusion have? Nearly none. There is something for everyone to use, and its streaming capabilities are unmatched. However, the addition of Dirac Live and the updated HDMI 2.1 ports, which don't have the issues that the majority of HDMI 2.1 equipped receivers did in 2020, are undoubtedly the 2 most crucial features of this receiver. The TX-RZ50 is elevated by these 2 features alone, and when you take into account how inexpensive it is in comparison to rival brands, you can be confident that this product has set a new standard for its category. Is there anything negative about such a great receiver? Actually, not at all. The TX-RZ50's lone significant flaw is that they are incredibly difficult to locate. The majority of businesses rarely have any inventory, and when they do, the products are so scarce that they sell out in a matter of minutes. It's unfortunate that Onkyo has produced such a high-quality product, but there is not enough supply to go around. If you are seriously considering purchasing this, be prepared for a protracted wait and extensive searching to locate one. Oh, and Onkyo, make a backlit remote that is better. In summarizing our assessment, we can categorically state that the Onkyo TX-RZ50 establishes new benchmarks in its category and is the product that the majority of other brands should consider when planning their upcoming releases. Onkyo has repeatedly shown their ability to produce amazing audio entertainment devices. Perhaps, this is the start of better times.